Forget everything you've been told about hard work. Hard work is a commodity. It is a resource that is bought and sold by those who understand the true nature of the game. If hard work alone made you wealthy, the people breaking stones in the sun would own the world, and the single mother working 3 jobs would be a titan of industry. But that is not how reality is constructed. The true 1% don't work in the way you understand it. They extract. They operate in a realm called the ghost economy, a layer of reality that exists just behind the one you see every day. While the masses are distracted by the noise of the news cycle, crypto scams, and the exhausting 9-to-5 grind, a silent class of architects is redesigning the world to act as their personal ATM. They don't want your attention. They don't want your likes. In fact, if you know their name, they have already failed. In the world of high-stakes power, a brand is a target. Anonymity is a shield. Today, we are going deeper than basic business tips. We are looking at the predatory geometry of the elite. We will deconstruct the strategies they hide, the luxury they use as armor, and the cold-blooded reason they will never hand you the keys to the kingdom. Let's begin with the first pillar, infrastructural capture. Most entrepreneurs try to sell a product. They want to sell a better coffee, a faster app, or a prettier shirt. This is a beginner's mistake. A product requires you to convince someone to buy it every single day. The elite don't sell products, they capture infrastructure. They want to own the things you cannot say no to. They look for the toll bridges of life, the data centers that power the internet, the payment processors that take a cut of every swipe, the logistics hubs that move every package, and the very land under the hospitals where you are born. This is what economists call inelastic demand. When you own the infrastructure, you don't need to market. You don't need to hustle. You simply wait at the finish line of every transaction and collect your fee. They hide this strategy because it is effectively a private tax on the public. They don't want to compete in a fair market. They want to be the market itself. Their business strategy isn't growth. It's encirclement. They buy the competitors before they become a threat. They lobby for the regulations that make it impossible for startups to breathe. And they ensure that no matter who wins the game, they own the stadium. They aren't playing the game. They own the ball, the field, and the referee. Why the secrecy? Why the obsession with the shadows? Because power is shy. In the high-stakes world of the ultra-wealthy, fame is considered a tax on your time and your safety. If the public knows you're winning, they want a piece. If the taxman knows your name, he wants an audit. If the hungry know your address, they want a seat at the table. The elite use a concept called strategic obfuscation. They bury their assets in ghost equity, layers of offshore trusts, holding companies, and family offices that make them legally and digitally invisible. When you look at a skyscraper, you see a building. They see a complex web of debt and equity held by a blind trust in a jurisdiction you can't find on a map. And their luxury, do not mistake it for vanity. Their luxury is social arbitrage. They do not buy a $50,000 watch to tell the time. They buy it to signal to other predators that they belong in the room. They use exclusive galas and private clubs to trade information that is worth $50 million before the sun comes up. They don't buy Ferraris to go fast. They buy access to the inner circles where the real maps of the future are being drawn. Luxury is the high-frequency signal they use to find other wolves in a world full of sheep. Now, let's talk about the math they don't teach in MBA program, the velocity of debt, or use debt to buy things that lose value: cars, clothes, and electronics. The middle class uses debt to buy things they think are assets, like a home they will spend 30 years paying for. But the elite, they use debt as a high-pressure hose. They do not sell their stocks to buy a jet. They borrow against those stocks. This allows them to access millions in cash without ever triggering a tax event. This is the Great Loop. They live on borrowed billions while their net worth explodes in the dark, untaxed and untouched. They don't want you to know this because the entire banking system depends on you being the depositor, not the distributor. They need your savings to fund their leverage. They need your labor to pay the interest on the world they've already bought. The gates of the invisible empire are not closed, they are just invisible to the untrained eye. To enter, you must undergo a total psychological shift. If you want to join them, you have to kill the part of you that wants to be seen. You have to stop seeking validation from people who are stuck in the grind. You have to stop looking for deals and start looking for monopolies. Stop building businesses and start building systems of extraction. You must become the person who owns the pipes, not the person who is thirsty for the water. Wealth is there. It is flowing right now beneath your feet in the silent pipes of the global economy. Most people are just hoping for a drop. Elite, own the valves. Which one are you going to be? Choice isn't about effort, it's about geometry. It's about where you position yourself in the machine. Until next time, stay silent, stay dangerous. Operate. We're out.